Welcome back. So today we'll be talking about Kubernetes cluster. So basically a Kubernetes cluster is a set of nodes that run containerized application, and containerizing application packages an app with its dependents and some necessary services, and they are most lightweighted and flexible than virtual machines. Saying that, as you can see the architecture, this is what we are going to do in this lab. So initially the tasks that we're going to perform are 4 different tasks for this lab. The first one would be registering Microsoft Kubernetes and Kubernetes configuration. The second one would be deploying an Azure Kubernetes Service cluster, and the third one would be deploying pods into the Azure Kubernetes Service cluster. And coming to the fourth, it's scaling containerized workloads in Azure Kubernetes Service cluster. So these are the 4 different tasks that we'll be performing. So in this lab, we'll be performing first 2 tasks. So let's go ahead and start for that. So let's go to the Azure portal, and as you know, the initial task is to register the Microsoft Kubernetes and Kubernetes configuration. For that, we have to open the PowerShell. So this is the Cloud Shell that you have to click first. So if you get a pop-up saying that there is no storage mounted, you have to create a storage and proceed with that. And we have 2 different options, PowerShell and Bash. So based on the commands, we have to go ahead with that. So since I'm using the PowerShell commands according to the GitHub, I'll be using those commands. So let me copy and paste that commands. So this is the first one to register the Microsoft Kubernetes, and the second one is for Kubernetes configuration. So just click enter. So it has been successfully completed. However, they're registering, but it will be done soon. So coming to the next task, we have to deploy the Azure Kubernetes Service cluster. For that, let's minimize this and search for Azure Kubernetes Service. So you can see there is a Kubernetes services. Click that. Right now we don't have any. Let's go ahead and create one. So click create, and you have 2 different options, a Kubernetes cluster as well as cluster with Azure ARC. So right now we'll be going with Kubernetes cluster. Click that, and select the appropriate subscription here. So in my case it's subscription 1. And coming to the resource group, let us go and create one. So let me copy that name. So it's done. And coming to the region, so as you can see for this node size, it says that the size is currently unavailable in the location for this subscription. So right now we are in East US 2, so we have to change the location for which this particular node size satisfies. So let us go and select East US and check whether yeah, it's apt for that. So it's working good. And the next one is let's add the Kubernetes name as well. So this is the Kubernetes name. So according to the architecture, you can verify that. So, and the next thing is availability zones. So if you check, there are 3 availability zones, so deselect them. So if you talk about availability zones, it is highly available offering that allows you to spread the nodes in these node pools across multiple physical locations, protecting your application from disaster failures. So whenever there is a lot of load on the first zone, it will be redirecting to the second zone and so on, third one. So right now we are not using this availability zone, so we'll be deselecting those 3. And the next one is coming to the version and everything is default here. And coming to auto scale method, you have to select the manual, and let's add 1. So the node count in this case would be 1, and I think everything is good to go. You can go to the node pools, and in this case everything is default. So you have to disable this. Yes, it is disabled. So I think nothing to do for this particular section. So let's go to the access, And coming to the access, for the authentication method, we have system assigned managed identity, so which is by default, so there is nothing to do here. And make sure it's enabled, the role-based access control. So if you want to know more about this, please check the previous videos. So I think yeah, so let's go to the networking section. And so here we have two different options, Kubernetes and Azure CNI. So basically, let's think it as the basic version and it's an advanced version. So that is what it is. So however, you can read about like Kubernetes. So its networking plugin creates a new VNet for your cluster using the default values. Whereas if you talk about CN, networking plugin allows cluster to use a new and existing VNet with customizable address. Application pods are connected directly to the VNet, which allows you to navigate integration with VNet features. So that's it. And coming to the DNS name, so by default we have this, so it satisfies, so that's good. And let me check the other options too. So I don't think we need to change anything here. So yeah, we can go to the next section, which is integrations. And in this case, for this container monitoring, we will be disabling it, so which doesn't require for this lab. So once we disable this, so for example, usually if that is for the production, you have to make sure that it's on, since it's the lab, so we don't require this. And you can check the advanced tab, as well as which we have only one, which is enable secret store CSA drive, so it doesn't require right now. And you can add any tags if you want though. And finally it's review and create. So probably like everything will be right, and we'll be getting validation passed, and we can create it. So coming to the docs, it takes like around 10 minutes time for this to create. So let's go ahead and create. And in the next task, we'll be deploying the pods into the Azure Kubernetes service cluster. So this is what we'll be doing in the next session, and we'll be using the Cloud Shell there. So coming to this video, I hope you guys have understood the concept of implementing Azure Kubernetes Service, where how to deploy the Azure Kubernetes Service cluster. So if you have liked the video, please click the like button below, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel and please share the video. Thank you.